Hi, I'm Deanna with Positive Action Ministry, and today we'll be doing a lesson about Job 31. So in Job 31, there's like an overall theme, and if you had to describe it in like one word, what is Job kind of trying to proclaim about himself in this? Go ahead, Tia Ralph.
Innocent.
Innocence. He's trying to talk about how he's innocent, right? And so we're going to go over some questions now that are related to the different topics he kind of brings out within that chapter to prove his innocence about different areas.
Yeah.
So the first one is that he made a covenant. Job said he made a covenant with his eyes. What was that for? Go ahead, Tia Ralph.
That he's look out with his eye will lost to another to women's.
Perfect. Yes, he said
A young lady.
not look lustfully at a young woman.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Job mentioned right after that, he said there was a certain type of scale that he asked God to weigh him on. What was that related to?
Wow.
Go ahead, Brandon.
This is the scale that he treated his workers.
No,
Oh.
it's it's kind of like he was talking about deceit. So he said to weigh him on the scale, the honest scales, right? Like to see if he was being honest or if he was being deceitful in that area. And then Job talked a little bit about what should happen to his wife if his heart is enticed by a woman. So if Job is enticed by a woman because he looks at her lustfully, then what should happen to his wife? What would his wife do? Tio Renee.
His wife then should sleep with other men.
Right. Basically, he said that if he was doing that, then she should be able to be with other men. And how does he compare himself with his servants? So there's a little, I guess, group of verses where he's talking about that. Go ahead, Tio Ralph.
He treated them with respect always,
He treated them with respect. Did he think he was above them or
No, they were equal.
Yes, he mentioned specifically that they were both made in the womb, right? And so therefore he doesn't have any privilege to deny any justice to him because they're the same, they're equal
Yeah.
in nature.
Yeah.
And how did he treat the poor and the weak? This one should be easy even if you didn't read it.
He was very compassionate.
Yeah. He was good, he was kind to them. He didn't victimize them, right? Even though he could have, he had a lot of money and he was very well off, but he was very kind and he never turned away the poor or the weak.
Yeah.
What does Job say about gold? What does he say about his thoughts about gold?
God be there. I don't recall.
All right. So basically, he's talking about how he's wealthy and how he has gold, but he should never worship them, right? Because that would kind of be more like an idol sense, right? So he needs to put his trust in God rather than put it in gold or put it in his wealth, because those things are fragile, right? They can change at any time, just like they really did to him in his actual life. That's sinful if he's putting money and wealth above God.
Yeah.
How did Job treat his enemies? Should be very similar to the other question. Do you think he wished harm upon his enemies, or did he laugh and cackle at them when they?
I think he leave it up to God to take care of his enemy.
Yes, he didn't rejoice at their misfortune, right? He wasn't like gloating or being happy about the fact that maybe one of his enemies would have trouble, because that would be sinful, right? And he's going through all of these different sections that typically, as humans, we have some trouble with, and showing how he didn't have these issues, right? So, what is Job towards the end of it? He asks something in particular from the Almighty. Go ahead, Tia Ralph.
Okay, he asked that his enemy should present an indictment of his sin.
Yes. Yes, exactly. He asked him to put what he's done wrong in writing. He's asking for an indictment because he believes that he's innocent, that he's willing to give an account of every step he's done in his life as he's going through these sections, right? And talking about how he's not lustful, how he's not mean, not how he's always helping others. And so the three main takeaways I put was integrity is not about your actions on the outside, but also about your heart and intent. So you could go around giving all the money and doing all these things, but the truth is, like, what are you hiding in your heart, or how do you truly feel about the matter? Living a life of good deeds and righteousness does not guarantee that there will be no suffering or hardship, because but with that said, how we live and how we respect God shape how we respond and handle the tribulations when we are in those situations. And be confident enough in your behavior and thoughts, not just your behavior, because I think that's key to this chapter, that you're willing to have God examine every step of your way. So everything you're doing. Anyone have any questions or comments about this chapter?
Well, I just wanted to say, just by reading that chapter, that Job believing having one woman only. That's my understanding. He just believing having his eyes for his wife, and I mean, he didn't practice that most likely were practiced in those days that men used to have more than one wife.
Yes, yeah, a lot of that. Like if you look at the different evaluations of the Bible, they bring that out, right? Because Job is so wealthy that he could easily have attractive young women and concubines and what have you in that time, but he did not. He chose to only be faithful to his wife. Tia Ralph, say something.
The thing that I like the most about the whole chapter is that he proclaimed he's innocent, and then he's explained why he's an innocent man, and also I like the challenge at the end that he said, "Oh, bring it on! You know,
Yeah.
you accuse me of doing something wrong. I need an indictment. I need
Yeah.
something in writing. You know."
And
Yes.
yeah, and also because of this chapter, I believe now that I understand that maybe those other children that he had were with his wife, because a man that has that kind of view, most likely he wouldn't have touched another woman. So most likely those children that he had, again, most likely were with his wife, just by understanding that he wouldn't look at another woman but his wife. So
Yeah.
no, that's that I was always ask myself, who gave Job those children? Now I believe, because of what is written over here in this chapter, that his wife was who born him those other kids that were born after all the other children were wiped out.
Yeah.
Yes, very interesting.
Very good.
Anyone else have anything to share? All right, thank you so much. I can tell, Tia Ralph, that you spent a good amount of time studying it because you know a lot of the answers.
Yeah.
We'll do it.